flags over Mid-America. Seem to be a little non-regulation.
Like that. Let your pants go all the way up to your knees. You guys are pretty good. This works out real well. No rain. You can just start wearing your jeans too. come back there. Next seat, please. Okay. And now toes together. Ready, 2, 7, go.
You may have a little bit of trouble seeing our judges back there, but they are there, believe me. On the left end is Don Marcoulier, served as Director of Bands and Professor of Music at Drake University from 1956 to 1987 when he retired. He has received many awards from Iowa, bandmen, and nationally. Don, wave your hand. You may applaud. It can't do any harm. Dr. William P. Foster in the center, distinguished professor, chairman of the music department, and director of bands at Florida A&M University, and a former director of the McDonald's All-American High School Band. And on the right, Captain Tom Palmatier, associate bandmaster of the United States Army Band, director of the U.S. Army Ceremonial Band, the brass band, and the Herald trumpets. If you watched any of the coverage of the inauguration on television, or you've watched any television coverage of major heads of state from foreign countries visiting this country, you have seen and heard the Herald trumpets, because they're at every occasion like that that takes place. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Excelsior Springs High School Black and Gold Band, directed by Brian Poston. They will play Citation by Claude Smith and Dedicatory Overture by Clifton Williams. In reverse order.
you and welcome to our annual spring concert, or shall I say monsoon concert. That first piece of music we've had great success with this year. That was one of two pieces that we took to State Festival at Wayne Jewell College, and the band received a 1 rating on. And last Friday we went to the Six Flags Over Mid-America Band Festival and received a 1 rating on that also. So we've had a lot of fun with that piece of music. Next for you is Percy Granger's Irish Tune from County Derry, Bridget Kyle, and Cheryl Neal as soloists. Next in our program is a young woman who's done very, very well this year in solo, competitive solo playing. She plays with a 1 rating at District Music Festival at Regional College. She also scored a 1 rating at State Music Festival at the University of Columbia. We have tenor saxophone soloist tonight. This is Ms. Sarah Chartier. She'll be accompanied by Mrs. Leslie Bunch. selection is a contemporary selection. It's just about hot off the press. It was published just last year by Mr. Ed Huckabee, who's a member of the American Society of Composers and Publishers. And he calls it a suite in one movement. Normally a suite is composed of 3 movements, but he put this into one movement as a suite for band. No concert's complete without John Phillips Sr. Excuse me. Sorry, your program for a second. Our next young lady has also done a very, very fine job this year competing with solos. In fact, she's done very well all 4 years of her high school career. This is our drum major and our first year trombonist, Ms. Bridget Heil. Again, she'll be accompanied by Mrs. Leslie Bunch. Bridget will be going on to Central Methodist College next year to study with remote major as an education major, continue her studies in music. I just couldn't wait. I wanted to play John Philip Sousa. Program tonight. Usually end on a serious note, but since it's the monsoon season, hopefully it'll be spring, we thought we'd end on a more fun note. Play a little Dixieland for you. It's something that I got involved in a long time ago, and I try to pass on to my kids. You have a Dixieland combo in front of you, and this was composed by Mr. Jared Spears, who still resides and teaches in Arkansas. He's a member of the American Society of Composers and Publishers. And he's composed a tune based on the old hymn, Nearer My God to Thee. And the tune is based on how they would do a New Orleans jazz funeral. They tell me it's the glare. We have some quick refreshments for you at the back of the room. Have a nice evening. Have a nice summer. Good night. Once again, I'd like to welcome you this evening to our annual awards banquet, potluck dinner, which we look forward to more of the food of the awards. The food is always wonderful every year. I'd like to talk just a little bit about the year. We've had an excellent year this year. Had wonderful weather for marching band, and the marching band was quite active. The highlight of our marching band season being we got on a very short moment's notice as to the thanks of Dr. Jim Botts and his hard efforts, we were able to play for the President of the United States. And that's something that I think is a rare opportunity for kids to do something like that. Right towards the end of the marching season, we had another feather in our cap. One of our members was elected and selected to the all-district, all Kansas City area Metro District Honor Band, and that was Bridget Heil. Bridget was tried out from kids from all over the Kansas City section, all over the Kansas City area, and unfortunately she didn't get to perform. She made it to, I think, one rehearsal, and then they got snowed out and came to perform, so they didn't actually get to perform. Moving along in the year, our highlights of the year, of course, was we had I think a very good Christmas concert along with the vocal music department. I always enjoy working very much with Tom Gifford because he puts on a very professional and a very good product, which they're working on right now, getting ready for their performance. We really enjoyed our Christmas concert. Our winter concert was a test, a trying time for us. I think we learned a lot from it. I learned how to fasten a bow tie, among other things. Then we go along to district contest. We had an excellent turnout this year at district contest. A lot of kids that really did well. And of course the highlight being the fact that these young students all played well enough and impressed the judges well enough that they received straight ones. To my knowledge, this is the first time in the history of this band, at least in a 30-year period. So they can really be very proud of that. And then we turned right around and we capped that off with going to Six Flags over Mid-America at their competition, and again receiving straight ones from the judges there, and receiving second place in the 3A competition. So these young folks are to be commended for their hard work this year. It's been an excellent year. I think as far as our awards and accolades this year, this is the best year that we've ever had in the 13 years that I've taught this program. What I'd like to do is just simply go on and get right into our program of awards. Where's Shelley? I'd like to introduce our band president, our outgoing band president. That is, if she graduates. That's all you're finding? That's all you're finding? Making the breakfast this morning? During the course of the marching band, I always keep an eye on the kids to see who work a little bit harder, holding their heads up a little bit higher, lifting their feet up a little bit higher, playing a little bit better in tune. And our outstanding marching squad this year is a clarinet squad, I believe, that was headed up by Heather Dennis. So our outstanding marching squad is Heather Dennis. Let me get your awards. Carrie Hatcher, Tony Holt, and Angela Collier. We've got squad number 3. And during the concert band, I always try to pay attention to who's doing an outstanding job. And in the last 2 years, rather than giving an outstanding concert section, the thing that has impressed me the most these last 2 years has been the section that has improved the most this year. So this year we're awarding the most improved concert section, the section that I feel has come the most and succeeded the most in concert band. This is our flute section. This is Susan Singer, Cheryl, Jack Baker, Beth Lamar, Jim Ball, and Brandon King. We're going to go back to the fall of the season and recognize our color guard members who did an outstanding job. And at this time, we'd like to recognize our color guard 11. And I'd like to introduce our color guard sponsor. This is Leslie Bunch.
Color guard, of course, part of the band, again, had a very successful season. I had a group of really good ladies to work with this season. We have had several returning, and several of the girls did letter. Our letter awards for color guard this year go to Jennifer Rana, Kelly Clevenger, Juanita Ray, who's captain of our flag squad this year. Jesse Hoffman. Brady Meyer. Ken Keel. Rachel Morris. And Mindy Stewart. Besides giving letter awards, we do recognize 2 members of the squad. The first one is the color guard Rookie of the Year. We had several rookies this year, and it was really kind of a difficult decision. However, the young lady that we chose, I feel, really displays all the characteristics of an outstanding color guard member. She showed a tremendous amount of determination and effort and put in a lot of time and just basically had the spirit that determined to get the job done, and besides having outstanding talent at what she did. Our color guard Rookie of the Year is Kim Keel. last award that I'll be presenting is Color Guard Outstanding Member. This can go to any member of the squad, and is looking at the ladies deciding on this award. I think that this young lady is hands down just a very outstanding, not only color guard member, but an outstanding person. She has a tremendous leadership talent. And also, I guess just the thing that I appreciate the most about her is that she is terrifically dependable and has very high expectations for herself and for the group. And our color guard member of the year is Jessie Hoffman.
We give a lot of awards based on merit and watching the actions and attitudes of the students. But the award that actually shows the hard work that the kids actually do is our band letter award. And this is earned, the letter award is simply earned by earning points. We have a rather, I would say, complicated system, but a lengthy system of writing down and documenting all the things that the kids do in the band. And all the things from making sure that they attend all the performances, making sure that they, for instance, go to all the summer practices, participating in all our winter performances, and we do a tremendous amount of winter performances, which is really taxing on the kids and difficult. Of course, we give them points for that. But also things such as doing extra things, such as taking solos and ensembles to district and state contests. And then also the extra things, I also like to recognize the housekeeping chores of taking care of the band. Obviously, with as many kids as we have, and all the uniforms and all the equipment we have, it takes a lot of people to help run this band, so we recognize this. This year, our band students scored a total of 5,786 points, all totals. This year, to earn a band letter, it took, once we did the math on it, it took 133 points to earn the band letter, and anyone scoring at least 119 points received a provisional letter. I'd like to recognize at this time just some people before we hand out the letters. Our highest point scorer this year, as well as last year, was Bridget Heil, and she scored 267 points this year. And before we continue, I would like to recognize our seniors, our 4-year lettermen that have lettered all 4 years of their high school career. If they would stand, are Bridget Heil, Jennifer Mosley, and Shelley Bishop. And a number of years ago, I instituted an award. It's a special letter award to recognize those students that have participated in the band all 4 years. It's difficult to maintain, especially with the higher academic expectations that we're asking of the kids, and especially with the things the kids get into with work and the family situations or whatever, to be able to maintain something as taxing and as challenging as band or vocal music all 4 years. So I have created a special letter to recognize the seniors. And our senior recognition lettermen are Bridget Heil, Jenny Baldwin, Wendy King, Jennifer Mosley, David Alfers, Pat Farabee, Jennifer Means, and last, certainly not least, Shelley Bishop. Students earning provisional medal awards in our band this year are Jeremy Geis, Becky Rice, Stephen Emery, and Chris Fudd. Our band letterman, and again this year, we had 25 students lettered, which is 62% of those people that applied for the letter, 54% of our band lettered this year. That's a pretty high number, considering everything that we've done this year. So that, I think, is quite remarkable of the accomplishments and the hard work of these students. In no particular order, our band lettermen are Jennifer Mosley, Randy King, David Albers, Steve Sanders, Joyce Whiteman, Bridget Heil, Jenny Baldwin, Justin Fletcher, Sarah Chartier, Cheryl Neal, Mike Rice, Melissa Morris, Windsor Reed, Beth Lamar, Stephen Kistner, Stephen Crowley, Todd Harness, Debbie Baker, Angela Botts, Heather Dennis, Tanya Mosley, Tony Holt, Carrie Hatcher, Joe Morgan, Angela Collier, and Shelley Bishop. Let's give them all another big round of applause for their hard work. Once again, folks, my deepest gratitude. You've done a wonderful job, and you really deserve the awards you get. Moving along, About a year or so ago, we instituted an award for our jazz band, people that show outstanding participation in our jazz program. And we'd like to do this very quickly if we could. If your name is called up, come on real quickly and we'll see if we can get these passed out quickly. Jazz band provisional letters go to Drew Crowley. Jazz band letters are awarded to Jeremy Geis, David James, Jennifer Means, Jennifer Heath, Jesse Hoffman, Chris Carr, Angela Botts, Stephen Emery, Tyler Mosley, Stephen Christie, Stephen Crowley, George Whiteman, Mike Rice, Justin Fletcher, Richard Pyle, Cheryl Chartier, Joe Morgan, Winter Reed, and John Burns. I'm starting to sound like a stuck record because we give a outstanding jazz band member award. It's the third year that we've given this, and it's given in the name of Louis Armstrong, who, as you know, was a very famous American jazz musician, and it's given in recognition of outstanding achievement by an instrumentalist in the field of jazz, as demonstrated through superior musicianship, character, and creativity. And the Jazz Award is given to Sarah Chartier. I always like to pick out one member of the band that I feel has improved the most musically and just in their leadership skills and everything it takes to be a good band member. This year's most improved student just started playing his instrument just a couple of years ago. Came to me, said, "Mr. Postman, I'd like to learn how to play an instrument." Had never played in middle school. So I sat him down, taught him how to play an instrument in our second hour class. And this year at the semester, he was able to transfer up to the high school band. And in the one semester he's been here, he's done an excellent job. Our most improved band student award goes to Josh Fletcher. Along that line, I also pick out two of our rookies, people who have never played in the band before. You don't have to be a freshman to be a rookie, but that's how it usually works out. The last couple of years, it seems as if we've had several students that have done an outstanding job. This year, I have awarded it again to two students, and our band Rookie of the Year awards are awarded to Tyler Mosley and Gary Hatcher. Our final award is our Outstanding Band Student. The Outstanding Band Student Award is the John Philip Sousa Band Award, and it is a national award that's sponsored through the Instrumentalist Company. And most of you have heard the name John Philip Sousa, and I'll read to you just a little bit about the award. Since its inauguration in 1954, thousands of U.S. high schools have presented the John Philip Sousa Band Award to their most outstanding band students. The award recognizes those young musicians displaying superior musicianship, leadership, dependability, loyalty, cooperation, and other qualities of conduct which school instrumental music programs strive to impart. The Sousa Award is the top nationwide prize in the school band field, both in prestige and appearance. And this is the first time that I have ever done this in my teaching career, and it very pleases me to award it for the second time in a row to Miss Bridget High. There's one other award which is new this year. This comes from Mr. John W. Morgan, who runs the Cabool Pharmacy in Cabool, Missouri. And he wrote me a letter in December, and I'll read you some excerpts of this. I attended your fine music program on the 13th and was impressed with what you and Mr. Gifford have accomplished. It is obvious that not only a great deal of musical talent, but lots of hard work have gone into making the music department with what it is. I was especially impressed by Ms. Bridget Heil on trombone. I understand that she will be continuing her study of music after high school. Please find enclosed a check to aid in scholarships for outstanding musicians like Bridget. And in the name of Bridget Heil, we award her a $200 scholarship. Department's going to put on what I think is going to be an excellent program this evening. Mr. Gifford has worked really, really hard at no away. Jenny's been telling me all year long. She has awarded me some instant hair. And these are the black and gold band anxiety control pills. I definitely need this. Well, Mr. Postman, take one is needed to reduce the effects of band stress from your students. Thank you very much. Before I return in 20 minutes, I hope you enjoyed the meal, and I hope you stick around and still watch the choir. Thank you for coming tonight.
I'll find out in 10 years if
Justice District of Wayne, Georgia.
Our final band of the morning is the Seltzer Springs High School Band. We're going to play the concert variations by Claude Smith and the Hymn of Unity March by J.J. Richards. Please welcome their conductor, Mr. Brian Wilson.
Thank you.